Hello dear chess lovers, today I will show you a very instructive endgame phase of a game between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Magnus Carlsen. With white pieces, how would you play in this position with white? If I give you, let's say, three choices, do you take on e8, do you check on a7, or do you go rook a6 in this position, okay? Three choices, how would you play in an actual game? Please stop the video, dig deeper on this endgame. It's a beautiful one. You'll be rewarded, I can assure you that, folks. Also, in this episode, we will see how engines are differing from humans in judging and evaluating and offering moves, and how we can go maybe in wrong directions if you purely trust the engine moves. We should always weigh those moves in terms of human lens, because humans are playing this game after all, and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, MVL, made very human and strong decisions in this endgame that, according to the engine, was not the best move at that junction. And I will explain to you how they differ and whether we need to listen to the engine so much in those circumstances. Okay, folks? So, what would you say? First of all, a blunder is rook takes e8. By exchanging those rooks, first of all, you're exchanging your amazingly active rook for the terrible rook on e8. Plus, pawn and game transitions are very committal. Now you gave black this protected passed pawn on f4, so you have no winning chances whatsoever, but black is coming up with this amazing move d5, the only move that wins for black, and you're lost, because if you take back with the c pawn, then you'll have c4, and the king will come all the way here, and they pick up the pawn on b5 with the winning position in the end. And if you take back with this guy, then comes e4, and you just gave them two connected pass pawns. In fact, black is winning this position despite the fact that you have a pass pawn on d5. See how the black unfolds the winning plan, folks. That's a beautiful segment to understand. Your pawn is not going anywhere. They are starting to push the pawn, drive your king backwards, and then comes this phase. You're in Zugzwang, your king has to give way. They invade with their pawn. They improve with all their pawns first, and then comes this key phase. King e4 is coming. It seems like they're allowing your pawn to march forward, but then comes f3. Here, black to play. Please stop the video and find the only winning sequence for black. Beautiful calculation exercise, folks. King g3 is coming. They will defend their pawn this way and prepare the mating blow with e2. Isn't it beautiful? Pawn endgames are so committal, so sharp. You have to be so considerate before you choose to transition into a pawn endgame. This was a clear blunder, and you're a good player if you refused to go in that direction. But MVL plays the human move rook a7. That's a beautiful move. Why? Because first of all, you're keeping your rook on a beautiful 7th rank, and if they go to g8 with their king, then comes this check, and then you can take the pawn on h7 if they go there. If they move to h8, then you can go back to b7, put pressure on the pawn, and neither of these activation moves will give anything to black, because after taking on b6, this king is in a mating net, so they have no time to activate their rook this way. They get mated. That's the first point. Rook a7 check is beautiful because you're inviting rook e7. And the moment they go rook e7, now they can no longer go to g8 to follow, folks. You see, in this position, if you choose to go a6 directly, then you're inviting moves like rook g8. This is what engine recommends. Engine tells us that white should go rook a6 in this position, but as a human, MVL did not want to give this counterplay to Carlsen. Of course, they will ditch the pawn and they will activate the rook. Now white needs to calculate all these sequences. Rook g2 check, maybe they will go to h2, maybe something else. If they found rook b7, by the way, white is still winning. White is still winning with these moves, but it involves real calculation, you see. And now rook c7 followed by rook c8 is the winning plan. Yes, you invite the pawn to march forward, but your king controls that pawn, and now rook c8 is deciding this game. So engine says we should go to this direction with white, but you can understand that MVL doesn't want to give this counterplay to Carlsen. Thus, he plays the human move rook a7, which keeps full control in the situation. I will show you how the real game went, folks. In the actual game, he went king g8 in his position. Magnus Carlsen checks on g7. Why? Because if the king goes to h8, then after, let's say, moves like rook b7, as I mentioned, this king is in a mating net, so this rook has no time to activate like that. So Magnus goes to f8, MVL snatches a pawn, Magnus goes back to g8. Again, after king g8, where should we place our rook on h7, do you think? What move prevents all counterplay? Yes, folks, this rook is about to activate with rook a8. Thus, MVL goes rook a7. See how at all times he's controlling Carlsen's rook. Not for a single moment he lets Carlsen activate his rook. So Carlsen goes king h8. It's a beautiful exercise. Please stop the video, folks. The opponent's last move. Why the hell did he play king h8? What's the opponent's next move if you don't make a move right now? And you're a great player if you saw Carlsen's move rook g8. That's what he wants. He wants to activate his rook right now. So tell me which move MVL played after king h8. You're a great player if you found the move h7. That's a beautiful move that stops rook g8. Please look at the rook on e8, folks. Terribly passive. Has zero activity, zero potential. Compare and contrast that rook with the piece on a7. Beautiful piece. That's how you keep control in rook endgames, correct? h7 is beautiful, and Magnus will resign very, very soon. Now comes the final phase. Magnus has no moves left. He shuffles back and forth, but then the king is joining the battle on g6 square, folks. The king is about to go to g6. No one can stop that. If you try f3, then comes king g6, and Carlsen resigned in his position with black because still there is no counterplay left. There is no checks given. Nothing. The rook is terrible, and the next phase is very simple. I will go here and take your pawn. If you push f2, nothing is changing. Rook a1, rook f1, and take. Notice, even in this position, this rook is completely paralyzed in guarding the 8th rank. Zero activity. If you play rook a8, for example, then this comes with mate, right? Nothing is given to the opponent. It's an incredibly beautiful and technical phase. Black is completely helpless. You can take, well, right now it's actually quite difficult. That's the only chance to activate, but now it's just one more pawn is gone. This pawn is also queening. So Carlsen did not want to see any of this, and he resigned after king g6 in his position. So see how this is such a human move to understand, this rook a7 by MVL. The whole idea is to keep this rook shut down, basically. We can even look at this sequence of, because Carlsen played king g8, we can look at the move rook e7, for example. How would you treat this position? Do you think we should take the rook or we should play rook a6? Of course, we play rook a6 because this way we put pressure on the pawn and this rook is still paralyzed. You see, in the first circumstances, this rook could activate with rook g8 because you induced rook a7 check. Now this rook is on e7, so there is no rook g8 or rook g7 activation. This rook is paralyzed. Rook b7, such a passive move. Let's continue from this position, folks. What should white play in this position? Can you see another activation move with the rook? The rook becomes an annoying piece right now. And yes, rook a8 is coming, folks. This rook is coming to h8. That's the whole point. Imagine rook h8 will be a devastating move. Take on h7 would be follow. No piece can move anywhere for black. It's like full zugzwang and white will be winning. Thus, rook e7 is a must. Rook h8 anyways. And after rook e8, well, of course, you don't take the rooks. You play rook h7 check. Even this position, folks, please, white to play. Where should we place our rook right now on h7? There's a beautiful square that totally shuts down that rook on e8 completely. You're a great player if you found the move rook a7. It's totally about this rook. This rook will remain paralyzed. You won't even deal with any calculations involving rook activations. Simple as that. King h8. What is the opponent's idea with this move? And can you tell me the best move for white? Again, you're a great player if you found the move h7 because you're stopping rook g8 activation. You see, after king h8, he wants to go rook g8. You're stopping that. No counterplay whatsoever. Now comes the final phase. Just like MVL Carlsen game, we are following on the same idea. And after king g6, the game is completely finished. Even in this position, right? See how rook a7 was such a human move that keeps control of the rook on e8. Then the other impulsive move, rook b7. Rook b7 seems to be a move that attacks all the marshmallows, but then comes rook a8, right? You need to worry about some counterplay by that rook. Yes, you can still win probably in this position with these moves, but if you take the pawn, then you even invite this king to activate and put pressure to your pawn on a6. This seems like you lost control, don't you think? By blindly eating that marshmallow pawn on b6, you lost control. You give activity to black. Well, you can take on d6, They will go rook a2. Suddenly you need to be careful about these ideas, my friend. Rook a6, rook b2, right? You can win all the pawns, but suddenly you need some calculations, real calculation skills to be able to hold this position. But even here, right? Where is the win? This pawn is not going anywhere because of the rook, and the king is coming to g5 to deal with this pawn on f5, right? You lost control. Please look at this position, folks, which according to the engine is still winning for white, by the way, and compare this line with how you kept control by moving rook a7, how you shut down that rook completely, not even for a single move. I love such exercises, can teach us so many good things about technique in chess. And of course, in rook endgames, you know that, right? Rook's activity is the most important factor. If you can limit the opponent's rook, then you're fully in charge. I made one video about this, what rooks like in chess. I will post a link on this video. Please watch that to improve your skills of handling rook endgame, folks. Rook endgames are the most common endgame type in chess. You need some basic strategic guidances, and looking at such model games are so important. Again, folks, I will leave you with this position which attracted my attention, that there was a big difference to my mind between rook a7 check and rook a6. MVL played the human move rook a7 for the sole function of keeping this rook shut down from the game, but engine says rook a6 is even better, but you're allowing rook g8 because engines can calculate, right, move by move. After concrete calculation, after if you look at like 10 moves in depth, then okay, you understand that white is winning in all these permutations and combinations. But as a human, it's totally understandable that MVL doesn't want to go here, doesn't want to even bother calculating these lines. How many moves have we gone forward to calculate this line, folks? And again, nothing was forced. Black had several choices along the way with an active rook. But if you are like an engine, if you can calculate all its branches in accurately, right, then you can also go for these lines basically. But as a human, I think there's a real difference with human play. It moves like this and engine recommendations. And see how master did not want to bother calculating this move. And I will leave you guys again with this beautiful position which I've shown in my course on Chessable, my opponent's last move, right? By playing king h8, black was hinting at rook g8, and white saw it, and white parried this positional threat by this simple move h7, and this rook is completely paralyzed. Folks, Carlsen did not play with a worse rook in his life probably. Just a terrible piece, and white won a very beautiful game from this position. I hope you got the right lessons from this, and I hope your technique will improve in the endgame and you will shut down the opponent's rooks and won't give them any counterplay. This is the simplest way to win those rook endgames, and I will catch you on the next episode, folks. Thank you so much.